Here's a cool thing that happened. I got this book in the mail. Medicine Walk by Richard Wagamese. Nice picture of a horse there on the cover. This was a gift from Ariane, who is a common commenter here on this channel and on so many others, kind of person Alan, Big Hard Books and Classics, likes to call a commenter extraordinaire. I like that phrase. And I talk a lot through the comments, especially to Ariane, about the books that she's read, the books that I've read, and we share thoughts and opinions. And she thought I would like this book, and she sent it to me, and I read it, and I'm going to review it. Hello, my fellow readers. My name is Greg. This is Ghost Readers in the Sky. Richard Wagamese is a new author to me. This is the first book of his that I've read. He is Canadian and First Nations member. He's a journalist and an author. He wrote novels and memoirs and poetry and a lot more. He was a member of one of the Ojibwe bands in Northern Ontario. As a child, he was taken away from his family and put in a residential school. From there, he was adopted by a Christian family who abused him and forbid him to know anything about his native culture. So he ran away. He lived in the streets. He used alcohol and drugs. He did a few stints in prison. And he referred to himself as a second-generation survivor of residential schools. His parents and many other family members had been put in residential schools as well. The trauma continued. When he was in his 20s, he did reconnect with many of his relatives, and one of the elders from his tribe told him that his role was to tell stories, and so he did. He ended up moving to British Columbia, to Kamloops. He taught there, and he lived there until he passed away in 2017. This book, Medicine Walk, follows 16-year-old McClelland Stewart and his father, Eldon. And Franklin lives in, it looks like British Columbia. It's not ever specified. Could be Alberta, but I think it's British Columbia. I think that makes more sense. And he is estranged from his father and really knows nothing at all. He's estranged from his father and knows nothing at all about his mother. He does have First Nations ancestry, but the man who has raised him, who is known simply as the old man, is not a native, is not indigenous, and so was not able to teach him the native ways, but he did teach him about working with nature, getting out into the wild and learning foraging and fishing and tracking and hunting and sheltering. And this book appears to be set in somewhere around the late 1960s, give or take. Frank has only seen his father a handful of times, The experience has never been a pleasant one. And now that Eldon, the father, is dying from the effects of alcoholism and liver disease, Eldon wants Frank to take him up into the mountains and bury him in the warrior way. And then on this journey, Eldon tells Frank a lot of the stories that he probably should have told him earlier about his battle experience in the Korean War, about Franklin's mother and his grandmother, Eldon's mother. And Eldon really portrays himself throughout these stories as a pathetic man. In a lot of ways, that's cathartic for Eldon, but very painful for Frank. Now, Frank, 16-year-old kid, he is very likable. You root for him. His relationship with the old man is really inspiring and hopeful. Eldon, who is a broken down alcoholic, it seems like his only acquaintances are prostitutes. And he is portrayed with a lot of sympathy. And even though he has very few redeeming qualities, as a reader, I was rooting for him. I love the pacing of this book. It was just right. The mixing together of the journey itself into the mountains to find a warrior's burial spot, and then mixing that with the flashbacks that some of them were things that Frank was thinking about. Some of them were stories Eldon was telling. But they all fit together seamlessly in this narrative. Characters are complex. They're also vivid and really interesting. They drew me in. I wanted to know what was going to happen with these characters, even when the foreshadowing told me what was going to happen. I wanted to watch it. So all in all, just a very well done book by a new to me author. And I will be looking for more of his books in the future to read. I would recommend this for anybody who likes stories of indigenous people. Also, people who read and understand and sympathize with addiction and dependency. And then also people who are drawn into stories of abandonment and found family. Those are the themes, and I think there are a lot of other people that will resonate with, but if you find yourself in any of those categories of, I really like reading about indigenous people, I think you'll really enjoy this book. So again, thank you, Ariane, for this wonderful gift, Medicine Walk by Richard Wagamese, published in 2015, and just a really fine story, a really fine work. I'm counting it for June on the Range because it is set in Western Canada, not the Western United States, but I still count that as the American West. It's about indigenous people. It's about horses. So yeah, an extra June on the Range. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, my name is Greg. This is Ghost Readers in the Sky.
Yippee-yi-yi, yippee-yi-yo, the Ghost Riders in the Sky.
The description of vomiting blood is pretty much exactly how it goes. I know these things. You can ask me why sometime if you want, and I may tell you.